Hello friends, today we will start our second lesson, that is microorganisms, friend and foe. There are some microorganisms which are beneficial, therefore we have called them as friend, while some microorganisms causes diseases or affect the living things, therefore we have called them as foe. Meaning of foe is enemy. Microorganisms are the living things that can only be seen with the help of using microscope or by magnification. We cannot see microorganism with naked eye. Microorganisms are living organisms. Some of them are unicellular, while some of the microorganisms are multicellular organisms. Microorganisms are classified into four major groups. These groups are bacteria, fungi, protozoa, and algae. Some of these common organisms are shown in this chart. Viruses are also microscopic, but they are different from microorganisms as they reproduce only inside the cell of the host organism. Viruses cause common ailments like cold, flu, and most cough are caused by viruses. They can also cause serious diseases like polio and chicken pox. Some of the diseases like dysentery, malaria, typhoid, tuberculosis, these diseases are caused by bacteria. We have learned some of the organisms in previous lessons. Now, where do these microorganisms live? Microorganisms may be single-celled like bacteria, algae, protozoa, or multicellular such as many algae and fungi. Means microorganisms live in all types of environment. They live from ice cold climate to hot springs and deserts to marshy lands. Means everywhere we can find microorganisms. They are also found inside the bodies of animals including humans. Some of the microorganisms grow on other organisms while others exist freely. Microorganisms like amoeba can live alone, means it exists alone. But some of the microorganisms are found in groups, that is, they live in colonies like fungi and bacteria. Now, microorganisms play an important role in our lives. Some of them are very beneficial microorganisms, while some of them are harmful. Now, we are going to study about the friendly microorganisms. Friendly microorganisms means what? These are the microorganisms which are used for various purposes. Some of the examples are shown. Means microorganisms are used in cleaning up the environment or for the soil fertility in agriculture by fixing nitrogen. Some of the examples are given here. Microorganism like lactobacillus reproduces in milk, helps to convert milk into curd. Means while making curd from milk, microorganism lactobacillus is introduced. Making bread. In this process, a fungus called yeast reproduces in flour dough. It makes the dough very soft, and this soft dough is used in making bread, cakes, biscuits, pastries, etc. Microorganisms called, or the fungus called yeast, reproduces in sugar solution, converts into alcohol. This process is called as the fermentation process. While we go to the doctor give us antibiotic when we fall ill. These antibiotics are nothing but these antibiotics consist of bacteria and fungi, which kills or stops the growth of disease causing microorganisms and produce antibodies in our bodies. Examples: streptomycin, erythromycin, etc. We give small children vaccines. Vaccines are nothing but weakened or dead microbes that introduced into the body to produce antibodies. These antibodies help the child to fight against diseases: polio, cholera, typhoid, smallpox, hepatitis, etc. for lifelong period. Thus, vaccines also uses the antibodies. Microbes play a vital role in the fertility of soil. Some bacteria are able to fix nitrogen from air to enrich soil with nitrogen and enrich its fertility. These microbes are really very beneficial as they increase soil's fertility. Soil fertility is determined by the factors or by biological factors, mainly by microorganisms. The motion of soil is inseparable from the motion of the development of living organisms in it. Therefore, soil, we can say that soil is created by microorganism. But as the microorganisms are beneficial, there are also some microorganisms which cause diseases in plants and animals. Such disease causing microorganisms are called as pathogens. Therefore we can define that pathogens are the microorganisms that causes diseases in plants, animals, and even human beings. Some microorganisms grow in food substances and produce toxic substances and makes the food poisonous. Food poisoning causes illness and even death. Some microorganisms spoil materials like clothing, leather, wood, etc. They even spread the diseases. Diseases mostly spread through air, water, food, or physical contact. The diseases which spread through these mediums are called as communicable disease. Now recently you have the best example of that is COVID-19. COVID-19 is caused by a coronavirus. When a person suffering from common cold sneezes, fine droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air. The virus may enter the body of a healthy person while breathing and cause infection. Therefore, there are some insects and animals which acts as carrier of disease causing microbes. Therefore, it is said that stay home, stay safe. This is nothing but it is just to save ourselves from such viruses. There are many microorganisms causes diseases in humans. There are some insects and animals which acts as carriers of disease causing microbes. Housefly is also one of the such carrier. When fly sits on uncovered food or garbage, they may transfer the pathogens. Whoever eats the contaminated food is likely to get sick. Therefore, avoid consuming uncovered items of food. Another example of a carrier is a female Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito carries the parasite of malaria. Female Aedes mosquito acts as carrier of dengue virus. Here is a chart given to you. See, there are some of the human diseases, how they are caused, means which microorganisms cause the disease, their mode of transmission and preventive measures. Tuberculosis is caused by bacteria through the mode of air. Measles is caused by virus through the mode of air. Chickenpox is spread by virus through air or direct contact, and polio is also caused by virus through the mode of air and water. Preventive measures for these diseases is to keep the patient in complete isolation and to keep the personal belongings of the patient away from those of the others. The best preventive measure over this is to vaccinate the person. Now, cholera is spread by bacteria through the mode of food and water. Typhoid is transmitted by bacteria through the mode of water. For this, the preventive measure is to maintain personal hygiene and good sanitary habits, to consume properly cooked food and drink boiled water. These diseases can be prevented by the vaccination also. Hepatitis B is spread through virus in water. Therefore, it is suggested to always drink boiled water. Hepatitis B can be prevented by the vaccination. Malaria is spread through protozoa and mosquito acts as a carrier. Here we can use mosquito net and repellent as a preventive measure. We can spray insecticides and control the breeding of mosquitoes by not allowing water to collect in the surroundings. Now there are some diseases which are spread by the microorganisms in animals as well as in plants. Several microorganisms not only cause diseases in humans and plants but also in other animals. For example, anthrax is a dangerous human and cattle disease caused by bacteria. Foot and mouth disease is caused in animals through air and water contact with the infected animal. Pin rot is a disease which can be prevent them from injury and dirty water. In plants also there are some diseases that are caused by the microorganism. Example, citrus canker. The mode of for the spread of this disease is air. Yellow wing mosaic is spread by the insects. Rust of weeds etc. spread through air and seeds. Food poisoning. Next topic is food poisoning. Food poisoning is food poisoning is caused by the microorganisms that grow on our food, sometimes to produce toxic substances. These microorganisms make the food poisonous, causing one to ill, or even it can cause death. The common symptoms are vomiting, bloody diarrhea, dehydration, and diarrhea that lasts for more than 3 days. Therefore, it is suggested that we should always eat covered and hygienic food. In order to prevent this food, it is necessary to preserve it. Now, what is the preservation? We preserve the food with the help or by using some chemicals which are used in combination of food to prevent the growth of microorganisms in solution. There are natural preservatives as well as artificial preservatives. Some of the natural preservatives are as shown: common salt, sugar, oil, vinegar, lemon, honey, citric acid, vinegar, rosemary extract these are the natural preservatives. Natural preservatives are considered safer as they always exist in nature and our immune systems are also used to them. For example, common salt is used for storing meat and fish for a long time and to prevent the growth of bacteria. Salting is also used to preserve raw mangoes, tamarind, etc. We preserve jams, jellies, and squashes by sugar as it produces the moisture content which inhibits the growth of bacteria. Use of oil and vinegar prevents spoilage of pickles because bacteria cannot live in such environment. Liquid such as milk is stored by giving some heat and cold treatment. This process is called as pasteurization. It means partial sterilization of a substance and especially a liquid at a temperature or for a period of exposure that destroys optionable organisms without major chemical alteration of the substance. It means that pasteurized milk is consumed without boiling as it is free from harmful microbes. Firstly, the milk is heated to certain temperature for certain time and then it is cooled suddenly and stored. By doing this, it prevents the growth of microbes, and this process was discovered by Louis Pasteur. Therefore, it is named as the pasteurization process. These days, now our next topic is nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation is a process where atmospheric nitrogen is converted into ammonium ion and other nitrogen compounds which can be utilized by plants. Nitrogen fixation is needed or is helpful in order to increase the soil fertility by giving nitrate or nitrate to soil. This nitrogen fixation process is carried by the microorganisms like rhizobium, cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, and fungi. as its number increases in the soil. This process increases the human content of the soil and also increase the water holding capacity of the soil. Plants can avail nitrogen from the soil, but animals have to depend on plants for the nitrogen. Nitrogen from the abiotic pool is incorporated into biotic pool. See, here nitrogen cycle is shown. Our atmosphere has nearly about 78% of nitrogen gas. Nitrogen is one of the essential constituents of all living organisms as part of proteins, chlorophyll, nucleic acids and vitamins. The atmospheric nitrogen cannot be taken directly by plants and animals. Therefore, we need certain bacteria like blue-green algae which is present in the soil. It fixes the nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into NO2, NO3, that is into the compounds of nitrogen. Once nitrogen is converted into these usable compounds, it can be utilized by the plants from the soil through their root system. Nitrogen is then used for the synthesis of plant proteins and other compounds. When plants and animals die, bacteria and fungi present in the soil convert the nitrogenous waste into nitrogenous compounds to be used by plants again. Certain other bacteria convert some part of them to nitrogen gas, which goes back into the atmosphere. As a result, the percentage of nitrogen in the atmosphere remains more or less constant. The total cycle is described by this figure. Here, first nitrogen in this process, firstly, the atmospheric nitrogen is taken by the plants from the atmosphere. Means certain bacteria like blue-green algae fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert it into its compounds. These compounds are then utilized by plants from the soil through their roots. Then nitrogen is then again synthesized for the synthesis of plants, proteins and other compounds. Animals feeds on such plants and get proteins and other nitrogen compounds. And when these plants and animals die, bacteria and fungi present in the soil convert the nitrogenous waste into again nitrogenous compound that can again be used by the plants. So now what we have learnt in this chapter today, that microorganisms are very small, which are unable to see by the naked eye. We need microscope or magnification to see such organisms. These organisms exist in all kinds of environment, from ice cold climate to hot springs and deserts to marshy lands. They are found in air, water, bodies of plants and animals. Microorganisms are unicellular as well as they are multicellular. Microorganisms include bacteria, fungi, protozoa and algae, viruses, etc. Some organisms are useful while some organisms are harmful. Some microorganisms decompose organic waste and dead plants and animals into simple substances to clean up the environment. Some of the microorganisms grow on our food, causing food poisoning. Some microorganisms reside in the roots of the leguminous plants in order to fix the nitrogen from the atmosphere and support the nitrogen fixation process. Some bacteria present in the soil fix nitrogen from the atmosphere and convert into nitrogenous compound, and certain bacteria converts compounds of nitrogen present in the soil into nitrogen gas, which is released to the atmosphere. Here we have ended with our second chapter. Now in next lecture we will discuss about question and answers. Thank you. Have a nice day.